Hi everyone. I thought I'd spend these next few minutes sharing what's been transpiring and generally sharing an update about my recovery process. Uh, this is turning into the recovery that's going to take a while to get through. Let me start with today and then I'm going to work backwards a little bit. I had a phone appointment with my surgeon late this afternoon. I asked for this. What I wanted to talk over with him is why there still is some fluid that's coming out of my left hip. So the next reasonable step is to do an ultrasound and check how the medical condition that triggered all the fluid to start coming out of me is, and if there's a pocket of fluid in behind there still. So he did the referral, or the requisition, for this while I was on the phone with him. I was supposed to be having another operation within a few weeks, and that's not going to happen now. Likely this fall is when it'll happen, but unfortunately everything's in a bit of a transition right now. I had to use aspirin following the surgery. So aspirin's a blood thinner. The reason for the aspirin is to prevent blood clots. The idea being, when you open a person up and you're in and around their bones, you want to make sure that a blood clot doesn't happen that will cause their death. It's quite serious if a blood clot does form. And to be fair, it wasn't a high dose of aspirin, but it got me. I woke up on Saturday morning with really bad stomach pain directly in front of, or right around where my gallbladder is. I went to the hospital and they did an emergency ultrasound to check if I did have a gallbladder infection. So I don't. What this leaves is either that an ulcer is formed or that the lining in my stomach's become irritated. The emergency department doctor has given me medication to help my stomach heal, and then the plan is for an endoscope. In common English, to put a camera down my throat and have a look around and assess how bad it is. I've seen these done on vet shows before. It's kind of fascinating, except this time it's me. I kind of wish it was chocolate covered. I don't know when this will happen yet. I have expressed to the hospital the need for it so I can get through my second surgery once whatever's wrong is healed up. The most help my surgeon was able to give me in my day-to-day life has to do with showering. I've honestly been lost about this. The surgery that I had on April 2nd, that's the 7th time my left hip's been operated on. That's the 5th time as an adult. And I'm used to washing out of a sink or using wipes, for a defined 2-week period. And even some of the hospital bandages have a waterproof type layer. And, you wash with them, but then after showering, you rip the bandage off and you put a new one on, and it's really not a big deal. I'm not overly keen to go through the operation I had on April 2nd all over again. I really don't want to have to redo it. And so I've been very, very conservative in trying to make decisions then about personal hygiene. So for the most part, I've still been using wipes to wash. I did get into the tub when it had been closed for 3 days, because at that point it's safe and there's a barrier and bath water's not going to get into the new hip and start an infection chain in motion. The good news is that he feels it's safe for me to shower, and I'll definitely take it. I really enjoy the warm water going over my skin because of the pain that I'm in. I would prefer to be sitting in the warm water. It takes the weight off my hips, so I'm not feeling, or wouldn't be feeling, what's wrong with my right hip. But if that's not possible, then the option, or the next best option, is to sit there and just let the warm water run over my hips and enjoy that in terms of pain relief and getting clean, of course. I did make my surgeon laugh. In fact, I think I'll share this with you. So this is my first cell phone I'm using to record this video. And, I was told to treat it like a tablet. That's been much, much easier for me said than done. The screen's so small that I'm really good at thumbing things, like accidentally calling friends, or getting the phone on a menu that I really didn't intend to be there. I was supposed to have a phone appointment with my surgeon just over a week and a half ago, and I was awake and I was by my phone, but somehow I had managed to turn the phone ringer off, and I missed his call. Oh dear. And I had to actually go online to learn how to turn the phone ringer back on. I didn't have a sweet clue. It's life. Anyway, I told my surgeon, the funny part is I told my surgeon that my cell phone did not come with a teenager to teach me how to use it. Oh dear. I wanted to take a moment just to talk about Gary. He's not been doing too bad. Gary's really amazed me during the recovery, during the past few months. He has the same type of sleeping hut that I bought for Mike and that I bought for Rocky. I have a really good bond with Gary. Gary's been going to the sleeping hut to get his fresh vegetables from me when he first wakes up. Except that he knows on the days when I'm not feeling well to come right to me to get them from me that way. It's amazing to me. He'll, it'll be 3 or 4 days where he'll stay with the sleeping hut, but then I'll get up the next morning and just not be feeling that great because of pain in my other hip, the one that's waiting to be replaced. And he'll know to have come to me. I'm really enjoying having him here with me. I know I haven't posted videos of him as much as I did with Rocky. I've just been enjoying having him here and trying to get my strength back from the operation that I had in April. If things carry on as hoped, one of my friends is willing to help me make a larger hamster cage for Gary, and then for the next hamster when Gary passes away. I had wanted to do the guinea pig to hamster cage conversions this summer, the spot welding to put a second set of bars on it. The recovery is still taking everything out of me. It's going to need to wait till next year. So we're going to make one using wood and some aluminum for the corners and glass. And my friend Brandon's going to help me with the assembly just to make it easier on me. I was out last night. I live streamed the sunset from where I was at in the downtown area. It was really pretty. I'm going to try to do this again quite regularly during August and September. The recovery has been quite hard on me, and I haven't been able to get out and sort of live life as normal. I really enjoyed the 45 minutes or so that I was watching the sunset. And it's really not that hard for me to bring my phone with me so that others can watch it. So if I remember correctly, there's a live tab that you could look there for when I've live streamed the sunset if you've not got a notification or weren't available when it first happened. You know, perhaps this is something that you could watch while having a meal or just while you're unwinding for night. I really like it down by the water, but there's a bunch of beautiful locations in the city where I live. As you can see, I need a haircut. I've got a little bit shaggy. I'm really hoping by the next time I'm on camera that this has happened. I've been trying to baby my body. It's more than I've been trying to. It's hard being weak after the recovery and things that don't matter. You get really definitive about what's important and what's not important. And my haircut hasn't made it quite to the top of the list yet. I was able to do a bit of tidying in my home. There's some more that I'd like to do, and I've got behind on my paper shredding as well. I do have a tall paper shredder that I can do sitting down in a way that's not painful to what's wrong with my artificial hip. And a few videos ago, I showed about using water bottles for seated cardio exercise. And I'm actually starting to get somewhere with it. My resting heart rate's down about 6 beats a minute. If you aren't able to walk, the seated cardio, it's not a long time commitment. It's just a matter of building it in with your routine, sort of like after breakfast or just before you eat lunch. I've been trying to do it 2 or 3 times a day. And what I'm trying to do is get up to 25 minutes, where it'd be the equivalent of going for a walk. That's sort of the guidance that I received in 2018 for heart health. I've also been kind of enjoying it. There's the natural hormones that get released in your body while you're exercising that makes it feel good even though it's tiring. I kind of think this is all I have to share right now. Thanks for seeing through this. There are a few video topics I'm hoping to post tomorrow once I'm up for the day that are practical. I'm starting to get back to normal, but this recovery's been really hard. Normally I'm used to 6 or 8 weeks where life kind of goes on hold. I've not really enjoyed it lasting so long, but on the other hand, the artificial hip that was replaced in April is not paining me or attacking me like the previous one was. Okay, I think that's all I've got in me for right now. Thanks for the time that you spent watching this today. Bye for now.